So here we are on another Monster Hunter adventure, and the first thing I noticed that was missing from this game is there were no English vocals to the dango song. So I made some. 1, 2, 3, gazing at shiny lights in the sky. Suddenly some falling stars fly by. With eyes and mouths they look so sweet. Fluffy bunny dango, they're a tasty treat.
Here you go.
Hey J Hunts! Welcome to Season 3 of Hey J Hunts. And Season 2, man, that thing went by so fast. No, I'm just kidding. For those who are just joining, I am doing 2 journals simultaneously, going through Iceborne as well as Monster Hunter Rise. It might be a crazy thing. I might not keep doing this if it turns out it's too hard to do, but for now we're going to do it. And so in this journal, I'm going to be documenting my whole journey through Monster Hunter Rise, documenting my thoughts every week. I play it every Tuesday on Twitch at 8 p.m. Eastern time if you want to join me then. And we're just going to go over how I'm progressing. Now, this is really interesting yet different, and interesting is probably the best word, because when I was going through my original Monster Hunter journals through World, the base world, every episode I was learning something new every week, and every week was a new discovery. After about 10 or 12 weeks, I don't know how many weeks I'm into my Monster Hunter career, I have a certain level of base skills now, and I'm going into Monster Hunter Rise at the beginning of the game, which kind of, it teaches a new player all the new things. I'm going in with this now wealth of knowledge, and I'm just like, I know how to do that. I know how to do that. So the first 4 hours of this game, none of it surprised me. So this is the first time I have a journal where I can't really say, oh my God, I learned this. I figured this out. It's kind of a more muted feel of, oh, we're in a new game with some new elements, but I didn't really learn anything. I just experienced some new things, and all the monsters were very simple to get through. I made it all the way to, I think, level 3, village level 3. I think that's what it's called, or 3-star quests. So I did all the monsters you could hunt in 1-star, 2-star. And there was no challenge. I went through all of them. And to make things a little bit more challenging, I decided I'm going to try an entirely new weapon for my Monster Hunter Rise. So in World, we started with Sword and Shield. We switched over to Switch Axe, and I've been mastering the Switch Axe slowly over the last few weeks. I went into Rise, and as I was trying different weapons on my big Froggo thing that is not a pole, definitely not a pole, it hits back. I had troubles with, so what did I start with first? Someone suggested I try a weapon that I am not. Oh, I think it was the lance. And I was like, all right, poke, sidestep, poke, sidestep. I don't want to do this. And I wanted something a little bit more fluid. I was trying one weapon after the other. And everything felt kind of slow and clunky because I don't know how to play them, not because it's actually slow and clunky. And I'm like, oh, let me feel it again. Let me grab the Switch Axe. I grabbed the Switch Axe, and I'm just like, boom, 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 boom. Like, it just flowed so well. Everything came out like so smoothly because I know how to use that weapon. And then I was like, well, that would just make this too much of a breeze. We gotta have something new. So in World, I was really drawn to the Charge Blade, and I always said I want to revisit the Charge Blade. And so I took out the Charge Blade for a run. In World, I kind of learned the whole charge up your files, put your files in your shield, charge up your shield, charge up your sword, do this massive like buzzsaw attack. So I kind of knew that. I got a refresher on that, but now chat has been teaching me how to do a little bit of parrying, especially with the Silkbind attack, where I can deflect a monster attack and then like come out with a charged sword and shield with my Charge Blade. And I'm loving it. I'm loving how it's coming together. And these monsters are the right level of difficulty for me to get used to the Charge Blade. So like going through all these monsters, while they weren't necessarily like challenging the way, let's say, an Anjanath was my first time I encountered it, the fact that I was learning a new weapon and pulling off new combos and just getting a feel for this weapon, that part was fun. For the monsters, so the first 5 monsters I tackled were the Great Izuki or Izuchi or the Great Zucchini, whatever you guys like to call it, Arzuros, the Great Baggy, the Big Bunny Lagombi. This is the segment where Hey Jay tries to pronounce all the names of the monsters and he gets them all wrong. And finally, Acnosam, which is the bird with the big thing that looks like a walking umbrella. So those are the 5 monsters I beat, and all of them were new experiences. And all of them, one thing I do not like about Monster Hunter Rise so far is all the monsters are so tiny. In World, the monsters felt big and epic. Even the Great Jagras was a pretty big iguana-like thing. He wasn't no Elder Dragon or anything like that, but he was still big. Like, these things are tiny. They're the size of your dog, and it's just like, I'm hunting a dog. It doesn't feel as good. So anyway, we're gonna get into those fights and everything, but first, so we talked about the Charge Blade. Making my hunter, that was probably the first hour. Now the whole making your character process is even longer, because after you're done the hunter, then you have to do your doggo, then you have to do your cat, and then oh my god, there's just so many things to do. So I don't know where this is going to fit in the Hey J Hunt lore. Like, is this my hunter after Iceborne? Is this an alternate dimension hunter? I don't know, but I went with a completely new look. So my hunter, whether he is related to the first hunter of World or not, he's now got some blue hair, gave him a little bit longer hair, as you know, the player in the ether, whatever I am, has also longer hair now. Made him look a little samurai-ish. Love how he looks. Maybe I'll grow out that hair same way, dye it blue, why not? For the dog, I don't think we did anything special with what he looks like, but when it comes to the name, and there's so many buddies in this game. Can we just take a moment to talk about how many buddies there are in this game? It's crazy. We're going to talk about that in a moment. The dog, I decided to name my dog Chat, because Chat is always carrying me anyways. So we might as well really push that metaphor to an actual literal sense. So Chat, welcome to my Monster Hunter Rise journey. You will now be the dog beneath my thighs throughout the journey. Classy is back, but I did not want to say it was the same Classy as my World journey, because I still haven't figured out how this fits in the timeline. Maybe we are a few generations down. Anyways, we named the cat Classy Jr., so he's related to Classy in some sense, but we're not sure how. Maybe Classy Jr. is Classy's father. We don't know. I leave that to you to interpret the Hey J timeline, the Hey J Hunts timeline. And then we got to name an owl. I still honestly don't know what this owl does, but it's always watching me, so we're going to call it the Council. So the owl is named the Council. Seriously, I played this game for 4 hours. I still don't know what that owl does. It introduces you to the owl Kahoot at the beginning. I've heard he is the replacement to the pig, Poogie. Oh my god, I'm already forgetting Poogie. And that is just an insult. I don't know if Poogie was a staple of the series or if he was a world one-off. But I am so sad I don't have my wiggly, happy little pig greeting me when I go into the game. Instead, I have this standoffish owl watching me from the distance. Kind of reminds me of a past relationship. But anyways, so many pets. And then outside of those pets, there's a whole buddy system where you can actually hire more dogs and more cats and just turn it into a zoo. It's too much. It's too many options. Honestly, I'm shutting off that section of the game until I get a sense of everything else I'm doing. And on top of the buddy system, your buddies get skills now, and you can dress up your buddies. Like, this is turning into a living hunting animal. I almost said Animal Farm, which would be a very different story, but what's it called? Man, Animal Crossing? Is that what it's called? I'm thinking of an island. I'm like, where are they crossing? They're not crossing an island. It should be called Animal Island. But yeah, Animal Crossing. Except now they have skills, but you dress them up how you want, and then you go hunt. It's crazy. Too much buddy. The setting is cool. But I have to say, okay, the setting I love. I love the theme and everything. I love the music. The music's fantastic. But going into the game, if we compare going into World versus going into Rise, when I went into World, it felt epic. It felt like I was on a massive escapade, a journey into a new world, and we were going on an adventure. As much as we like to hate on the World story because it's not a great story, the beginning made me want to explore the world. It succeeded in that. Monster Hunter Rise just doesn't do that. It makes it feel like a cheaper, cartoonier, little one-off quest. And I'm not trying to be insulting with that, but on one, you're like on a boat. Okay, in World, you start off, you're on a boat, you're drinking, you're seeing all these faces, and then, oh my god, there's a big sea turtle, and oh, you're climbing the sea turtle, and then all of a sudden, bam, you're in a forest, let's explore this world. Like, wow. Here, I honestly don't remember how. I think, oh yeah, it starts off like an old tale of the rampage and stuff, and then you wake up and there's 2 twins in your room and you're naked. Like, very, very different story. Very different story setup. Not that one is not. It's just different. So one thing I think World did better than Rise is just the story setting. I haven't gone to my first rampage yet, so maybe that'll change when I understand what the whole rampage thing is about. I know that the village gets under attack, but it doesn't seem special, but maybe once you experience it, it's different. So we'll see. Other little things about this game in the village that stood out. We now have a lottery system, which is kind of cool. You get like a bunch of random items for 500 zenies. Is that what it's called? Zenies? Zenies? Zeni sounds like something I shouldn't be saying on YouTube. Zennies. We'll go with Zennies. Lottery's all right. The cooking. How is there not a Monster Hunter cooking game? They could make millions of dollars with a Monster Hunter cooking game. And if it already exists, please, I need that in my life right now. Monster Hunter World with Meowskulls, he was setting the bar kind of low, where it's like, cool, muscular chef, but the animation looks really good. Everything he's making looks tasty. Then they one-up that by giving you Grand Meow, who's the most wholesome kitty in all the land, making the most delicious foods ever. Now they one-up that by giving you dangos. Honestly, I've never had a dango. I've never even used the word dango. Is that even how it's... Yeah, it's dango. Or dango. I don't know. Never even said that word until now. And catchiest song, the most cutest wholesome cook that we must protect with our lives, and all the kitties playing with all the little mochi balls. It's too much. It's too much for this one hunter. This is too much cuteness, too much wholesomeness. But man, I want to play a Monster Hunter cooking game. I just want to cook. I'm tired of looking at the cooking and just shoving it in my mouth. I want to make the food with the palicos and with Grand Meow watching me judgingly from behind, where she's just like smiling but judging me with her eyes. You know the look. Sorry, I get very excited about cooking games. So when it comes to hunting these monsters, the Great Izuki, we've all fought him and killed him many times in the demo. It was really nothing interesting. The armor set though, the armor set's interesting. And okay, this was maybe entire luck, but I got the complete armor set after one hunt. I did one hunt and I got all 5 pieces of the armor. I think there was enough left over to give my Palico some armor. And I think the dog got a collar out of it too. That was like a buffet of parts that Izuki gave out. He was just shedding Izuki everywhere. The Arzuros, the bear, also fought him in the demo. Wasn't too exciting. He's kind of like my Pooh bear because he's a bear. And the only bear I know is Winnie the Pooh. Yogi isn't interesting. His armor set, honestly, I don't care for it. And starting to look at armor skills more. Izuki had that critical stuff, which chat was telling me was good. So I'm like, all right, let's go with it. All the other armor set kind of didn't really matter. The Great Baggy, so, you know, he had the whole sleep thing. But because he's such an early level monster, like I was dodging him no problem. Like, oh, you're going to puke on me? I'm going to be behind you, slashing you 3 times before that even leaves your tongue. He put me asleep once though, because I was doing something stupid. But anyways, the Great Baggy's armor is kind of cool because I like blue and he's got like a blue sharp thing, but nothing cool, like nothing that I would replace my base armor. I got Monster Hunter Rise of the Deluxe Edition, thanks to RGT85 for giving me a free copy of the game. And that comes with a really cool like straw hat, samurai outfit, layered armor. I've been rocking that the whole time, so it doesn't even matter all the pieces I'm assembling underneath that. I'm always going to look like a samurai until I can find an armor set that trumps that. And that should happen, but these monsters have not delivered yet. Next, we fought the Easter Bunny, aka Lagambi. It's a chunky bunny. It was fun to fight the chunky bunny. His armor set looks oddly familiar, like looks like one of the fluffy sets from Monster Hunter World from what I've seen, like the winter sets, but I'm not going to go with that. And then finally, the Walking Umbrella, we've got Aknosam, which had probably the best armor set so far. It has like this white knightish look, but it's not better than my Straw Hat Samurai look. So we're going to be staying with that. Those are kind of the big highlights that stood out for me from my first stream. It was a little bit like second nature now that I know what I'm doing. I'm like, oh yeah, item box. Let's set up our loadout. Let's do this. All right, let's go farm. Let's do the armor. Like I kind of know what to do. I'm in the grind. I know how to play the game now. And it's just like, all right, I need that rush. Give me that monster. But in the meantime, I like the pace that it's going at because I am learning how to use the charge blade, not the switch blade, the charge blade. And I'm learning how to use my silk bind attacks. And I'm also trying to learn how to mount another beast to bring it to the fight. So like all of these mechanics that should be second nature to Rise, you know, they are not second nature to me yet. So I'm enjoying practicing and getting to know the ropes with that. So I look forward to being more natural and bringing another monster to a fight, being able to wire bug out of attacks into attacks, using the charge blade as I want. I'm feeling that progress happening, so that's a great feeling. But like when we can start matching that with a challenging fight and it all comes together, that is maybe even better than a Monster Hunter cooking game. So that is my first journal of Monster Hunter Rise. I will be doing the next stream next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/AGOfficial. So be sure to follow there. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next journal. And until then, keep it classy. Gazing at shiny lights in the sky. Suddenly, some falling stars fly by. With eyes and mouths, they look so sweet. Fluffy bunny dango, they're a tasty treat.